Well, hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30 plus your video game enthusiast and industry analyst. And today, for July 21st, 2025, we'll run through the latest gaming news, what I've been playing, and stuff like that. So, morning, old Trime. It's good to see you. Hope you all had a good weekend. Yeah, I did. I spent a lot of time playing Donkey Kong Bonanza and some other things. I'll get into that. Something I haven't talked about yet. I got this last Friday, I think, Thursday or Friday, so I don't know if I had time to show it on stream, but some of the newer Street Fighter figures from Jada Toys came out. We have Sagat here, which looks excellent. This is an excellent figure. I can't believe how tall he is, too. He's pretty much 7 inches. It's sort of like how it works in the game. I like how they've kept everything to scale. And he comes with one of his effect blasts, which is pretty cool. So I'm sure there's going to be a player 2 or some other version, that has some other stuff going on. And then also Blanca, which is awesome. Really, really cool looking. Just remember, that was the most fascinating thing about Street Fighter 2, I think, for specifically Super Nintendo. I remember seeing the arcade, but that box art of showing him going after Chun-Li, that really grabbed me. And I had that box for a while. Either I still do and it's the attic, or that's one of those things I sold. But anyway, Street Fighter 2 specifically has a special place because I just remember when it was in the arcades, because I was at the arcades all the time when I was young, because my mom bowled like at least maybe once or twice a week. So I was always at this bowling alley as a kid that had an arcade. So I was always seeing the newest games come out. I remember when Street Fighter 2 was in there. And I remember when I saw Street Fighter 1 and I was like, this game, but Street Fighter 2, that was awesome. So yeah, these figures are cool. So I have all of them so far from this line. The one that it looks like it's up for sale, but maybe just for pre-order is Vega. The American name, not, because I guess M. Bison was Vega or whatever. But yeah, they still need the M. Bison, the Thunderhawk, or was that the name? The Native American. And then Akuma. There's a couple other, because it's from Super Street Fighter 2. So these have been very fun figures. And then, hey, Jim Kellogg, good to see you. And then obviously Metal Build Zeta Gundam. So if you're interested in that, over on the Gundam Explained YouTube channel, I do have my review up of it. And this thing is cool. All right, let's jump into what I've been playing. Let me bring that up. Okay, so look at that. Donkey Kong Bonanza came out on the 17th, and I've put 15 hours in. That's mainly what I've been playing, and during my free time this weekend, that's what I would be doing, is playing this game. Donkey Kong Bonanza is fantastic. It is my game of the year. I like it better than Mario Odyssey. I don't know what it was about Mario Odyssey. It didn't seem consistent to me. I don't know what it is. Like, maybe I need to go back and play it, but there was amazing moments in Mario Odyssey, but I just felt like it was a bunch of ideas, whereas Donkey Kong Bonanza has its thing, and that is the punching, but there's so much to it. But it's just, when I'm playing, if you're at a loss, you can center where you are, what you're doing in the game by punching something. It can get you somewhere. It can unlock something, or even if you punch something and it's not doing something, it will tell you, what you need to do. Yeah, the smashing. It is so satisfying. And I love how it works where, it's just like Mario 64, right? I think Mario 64 was the first game of that type. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. And I've always liked it set up where there are kind of these open world levels where you go and collect things. It's similar to the Sniper Elite. I wonder if that's why I like the Sniper Elite game so much, because they're really just Mario 64 levels. And so it's like that with Donkey Kong Bonanza, except that there's a lot of verticality, a lot more than in the Marios, and you can go through the world. Let's not think of it as we're just punching blocks because we're an ape, but think of it as the game is made where you can go through the world, and so there's just a lot there that just, the OCD shiny collecting. And that's such another crazy thing, because of all the gold you get, you actually do use it. It is so funny. Was it Polygon or The Verge. Hold on, The Verge. I got to search for it, guys, because I was laughing. I don't want to call people out. I'm not gonna go too much into it, but anyway, there's this article that says yet again, a Mario game, a Donkey Kong game where you collect a bunch of gold that's useless. Trying to correlate with the coins. And that was just a weird article. And even in the comments, people were like, have you played the game? Because the gold you get is actually super important. You use that to build getaways within each world. This is a place where you can refresh your hearts, change your outfits, because the outfits have stats depending on what you're trying to do, like buffs. So when you're playing in a world, you would go to a shop and you could buy maps of locations of the bananas and the fossils, which are the main things you collect on the map. What's cool though is, and so you can run out of your gold by buying this stuff, but then you can get it back pretty quick, but you still have to put work into it. So it was just so weird that The Verge had an article saying anyway, and they might have taken it down, so I couldn't find it. But the other part too is when you're digging in the world, it is actually completely random that you find treasure chests. So treasure chests are randomized. But what's interesting is in the treasure chest, it could be health, it could be gold, it could be balloons, it could be things that you use, like one-off items. But it also could be the maps. So you could dig around and randomly find the maps of fossils or bananas, so you can buy in the shop, or you can dig around forever. You could dig around forever, not find a map, but you have so much gold from digging that then you can go buy the map. So there's a really cool way there to get to where you can get everything you need. In different ways. There's a lot. So, and I was just talking about like the outside stuff around the game. There's also the leveling up system, which it's like there's a lot of leveling up. It doesn't seem like it. Yeah, just thinking back, each banana is a point, and then so you're just thinking of that some things cost 5 points, some things are just 1, and then you upgrade them, like it'll cost 1 for 1 health and 2 for 2 health, something like that. Or the strength of smashing would be 1 for leveling it up 1, 2 to level it up 2. And then the different forms you can take in the game. So far, I've unlocked the ostrich, zebra, and a big ape. I think there's another one I'm about to unlock, but you can upgrade those too. So there's really a lot going on in this. Could also be part of how you haven't done this, as DK Permaya has done this for years. Yeah, and so that's another thing. This game might as well be a Mario game. I know you're Donkey Kong, but it just feels it's that Nintendo first party platforming, and this game does it and it nails it. So yeah, I'm giving it a lot of praise. Oh, let me add, I played co-op. So my wife wanted to play, and so co-op works differently. You have Pauline on your back, which is interesting because Diddy Kong would be on your back, in the Donkey Kong Country game. So it's like they played off that, but also the hat in Mario Odyssey, because you could kind of do a 2-player thing. It wasn't that great. I know in Mario Galaxy, they had the 2-player where someone would have a Wii remote and shoot things. It plays more like that, but you use the mouse. So you take the Joy-Con and you actually turn it and put the thing on, the strap. So you can use it on your lap, which works, or on the table, or let's say on the couch, armrest. And so my wife, my son, and my brother, all yesterday at different times. So that's pretty cool. We're trying this with me. That's funny. It's like I was like the king gorilla in his couch in front of the TV as family members came to play. But no, you are Pauline on the back, but you're really just shooting. It's a cool little like mouse click shooting thing where you're just constantly helping Donkey Kong by just shooting enemies, shooting items. You can shoot gold and other collectibles and you get them. So it is, having someone with you makes the game, I wouldn't say easier, but when you're by yourself and you have to manage shooting, like picking up things to throw versus running around and punching or using your abilities, that's a lot to do, and it works and it's easy. But when you have someone helping you, it's a lot more fun and strategic. Like I felt like I could just focus on what Donkey Kong had to do while my wife could focus on clearing some areas for me to get to, or stopping an enemy from getting at me. Um, so I would say the co-op is really fun. I guess it would just depend if you're playing with someone that prefers to control Donkey Kong, or Pauline, or you could switch off. They gave different options actually in the that I didn't choose. There's one to switch controllers, so I don't know if that at certain times it switches, or I don't know. Okay, so Donkey Kong Bonanza, that's game of the year so far. Mario Kart World, played more of that. Just with my youngest, we went to go do an online race, and it was pretty fun, except for when someone knocked on the door, and then I go to press pause, and I realize, oh, wait a minute, we're playing online. And I was in second place. I was in first place. and I had to get up and get the door and all that. But okay, check this out. Fitness Boxing Fist of the North Star demo. So it's funny that this popped up because I have been boxing every Thursday morning, and it's been maybe 2 months now. And I'm enjoying it. I'm learning so much because I'm having someone that's teaching me. And when I was playing this fitness boxing game, it was like the first time that I was actually, because I've played like the boxing on VR, right? But since I've been learning how I'm supposed to move my body, like my waist, my feet, my heel, as I'm doing certain punches, like my friend taught me that. So when I'm doing this fitness boxing, I feel like I'm getting more out of it than I would have when I was playing the VR, because I would just, kind of do this in the VR. But since my friend has kind of taught me how I'm supposed to be moving, it actually makes it so fun. And I can kind of see where combo you can, because you're having to learn how to twist your body, you can it's just fun to like create little combos. And that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. I might get it. Jim Kellogg, I almost think this should have been the bundle day one console release title. Mario Kart World edges out ahead solely because multiplayer. I am curious about that. I'm very surprised that they made Mario Kart World the launch title pack-in game. But the only reason I think they did, and I think it's where it shows that we're on the edge of, I guess, the mainstream and the enthusiast, is Mario Kart really is that game where when they're selling the Switch 2 to the mainstream, they're using Mario Kart World. Now, Donkey Kong Bonanza is like what you sell to the enthusiast, and so that's where I think they're coming from with this, just because they knew what to do. The Switch 2 is selling out. It was hard to get. We had to be on a wait list for the Mario Kart World version, and without it. So I find that very interesting. Now, me as an enthusiast would have definitely preferred the Donkey Kong Bonanza game being the backing, because even between playing Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza, Mario Kart World is fun. It's fun, but it's not the enthusiast game that Donkey Kong Bonanza is. And I think because it's not a Mario game, they wanted to lead with Mario Kart. That's the only thing I could think of. So here's another thing. I hope this means, though, Donkey Kong can then become that, to where we can see it as launch titles. We can't see it treated in that way, because I think it'd be cool to have, like Kirby. Like Kirby is almost like that, but I don't know. I like Kirby a lot. I've played every Kirby game. I haven't beaten the new one, the Forgotten whatever. I'm waiting for August for the upgrade to come out. But okay, and then that was it. So really, that's all I played this past weekend since our show Friday. Tons of Donkey Kong Bonanza, a little bit more Mario Kart World, and 21 minutes of the Fitness Boxing Fist of the North Star, which I would probably buy the full version of. It's $50. And apparently it went on sale for $4 like 6 months ago. So I don't know if I want to wait for a sale. If it keeps me engaged on days I'm off, then I might want to do that. So, okay, let's jump into some news. So first one this is of some recent stuff. Autonomous was sharing about the Rebel Moon game that's on Android, published by Netflix. But apparently they're doubling down on the games. So let's see. Their segment has been growing slowly but steadily over the years. Um, they have invested in AI technologies, 80 games in development last year. Oh, and I didn't know this, but they announced that WWE 2K will be part of the Netflix games from fall 2025. That's pretty crazy. And then, like, how does that work, especially for a game like that? I mean, I guess they'll let us know here. I guess there's really not a lot of information other than yes, we are pushing games, doing licensed stuff like Squid Game. So, what does this mean? I feel like it's interesting because Microsoft is in a position where they are kind of changing the industry in a way, because they're kind of bigger, what they're doing with Game Pass, cloud streaming. Netflix, I like the idea of a company coming from this angle where they were just offering something that kind of revolutionized the way we watch movies, good or bad, I don't know. But I just hope this is another bigger player to kind of come in and maybe shake up how gaming is delivered. I don't know what that means. We'll see, but I find that interesting. All right, Ubisoft confirms a new first-person Ghost Recon game is in development. And I just brought this up because I back in the day I liked playing Ghost Recon. The recent ones had amazing graphics. And I would start them, but something wouldn't keep me. And I think, and I could be wrong, but I think part of it is by default making something open world. Because I was playing those previous Ghost Recon games that are open world, and so there's a lot of me doing faux survival. Um, Hold on one second. I gotta grab the door. Just one second. All right. Yeah, so we got contractor here for something, but wife is taking over. So, to go back to the Ghost Recon thing, I guess the main thing is, again, I was saying the open world. So I hope maybe they go back to these from like a different perspective. Let's see. You said our objective is to also make strong progress in the growing market, generally speaking, by continuing to enhance our current experiences that we offer in capital blah. See, that's like a lot of blah blah blah. Mm, and that's what's interesting because I feel like, oh, actually, I'm not sharing the screen. I feel like Ubisoft has done a good job in general, but I think they get a lot of hate maybe because of their size and because of their size and the optics. Sometimes it's like, well, I think this game is probably too big to be sustainable, and so yeah, it's an interesting little thing there. Um, let's see. Sorry, I'm hearing stuff in the background. Don't know if I need to help out, but okay, here's something new. Well, not really new, but more details. From Software is in advanced development of an unannounced game coming next year, it's claimed. So we talked about before that From Software's got coming up that I'm curious about. It's not Dusk Bloods, which is coming to Switch 2, which should be interesting, although it's like Night Rain, it's more multiplayer, even though more based in Bloodborne. Let's see. The report goes on to dismiss that the title is likely from Armored Core. However, following publication, many fans within the Armored Core franchise have pointed out that the series does have plenty of semi-sequels experience. So it does make sense if we consider when Armored Core came out for another one to come out. If it is another Armored Core, I'd be a little disappointed because I had fun playing the last one, but it didn't really do anything beyond my play of it, which is fine. Games don't need to do all that. Would I want another Elden Ring? Yeah, but I mean, I enjoyed my time with it, and it's one of those things where I would, you know, not like getting into another one that happens not to be as good or changed just a bit. Um, I think for a lot of people, Ubisoft can be polarizing. On one hand, they do cool, mature stuff. Then on the other hand, it's tons of dancy stuff. Yeah, exactly. Like, I wonder if they are spreading themselves too thin, trying to market to too many. That's why I think the gaming landscape has changed so much, and they got to navigate that stuff. Um. Okay, Warframe's Switch 2 port delayed by backlog of dev kits. So this is one. It's really cool that they want to put Warframe on Switch 2. That's awesome because Warframe is one of the oldest of these sort of live service looter shooter games. In a way, I remember playing it on PS4 originally. Played a little bit on PC. It's just cool to hear it go on to be on Switch 2 for so many reasons. A whole new audience to play this game. There's so much back content to it. But apparently there's a backlog of dev kits. That's interesting. So let's see. The developers definitely have plans, and they will be doing a custom build for Warframe as soon as they can get their hands on a dev kit. Sinclair also mentioned that Warframe's Switch 2 specific build will really push it to its limits, see what it can do. Faster load times, one of the features that was mentioned, but there's a lot of stuff they can do with the extra cores. And I just, it just popped in my head again. The whole mouse thing is so handy. Like, think if you can use a controller to play, but then have the mouse like on the armrest next to you, the Joy-Con, have them both connect. So then if you wanted to just kind of sit back and you're in the menus and then just kind of move around with the mouse and then pick up the controller for play, that's a neat accessibility thing that they can add in these games. Okay, I think that's it for that. Let's move on. Oh, here's something that looks cool. Gigasword launches October 2nd. So it was the subtitle that got me. Action puzzle Metroidvania. Okay. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let me open it up here. So this is like super, I would say super 8-bit, but more colors to kind of give it more 16-bit to it. I'll say one thing, I do prefer it being an action puzzler than an action platformer. I mean, I don't mind basic platforming, but in a Metroidvania, but sometimes the platforming, then I feel like I'm just playing Super Meat Boy. See, like, that's kind of it, but that's not too bad. And there's a demo. Oh, I didn't see that. So I'm going to install that actually. Okay. Hold on one second. All right. Sorry about that. Dog was in the cage. I felt bad, so I put the dog in the backyard. She's still crying, but it's okay. What was I gonna get at with this? Yeah, it's because we have a contractor and she's gonna jump all over him. Yeah, I think. Oh, am I not sharing that? Let me actually do this real quick. I wanted to share this page. So yeah, demo. I'm downloading it. It says coming soon. No release date. This is their first game as a developer. Let's see, as a publisher. Okay. So this would be really neat to jump into, but no date, but demo. So maybe demo tomorrow. I don't have time today to play any demos because there's actually a few that we're gonna play. Okay. So let me get back to. Okay, here's something interesting. Oh, hey, Steven, good to see you. So this whole thing with Power World is pretty interesting. There's this Legal Mindset YouTube channel that you can check out, and he's going to go into better detail than me, but just to kind of show, what he has on the screen here. Nintendo went to Japanese patent office recently and changed patent language regarding smooth switching of writing objects, added 26 sentences of legalese, including ambiguous words like even when. It is extremely rare to modify patents mid-litigation unless, and let's get to that other. Nintendo realizes they not only have a weak case in the US, but they may lose their patents declared invalid. So if they're trying to use the patents legally against someone and it doesn't work, they're like, well, your patent's invalid. That's crazy. This is an attempt to create confusion and delay the process. Overall, intimidation move against smaller gaming companies, flexing Nintendo's commitment to litigation. So I like to hear, because I understand companies need to protect their IPs in certain way, but I think going after Power World was wrong for a lot of reasons. I just heard something. But anyway, you know what? I should go. I feel really bad about the dog. But that's really about it. I had this up I wanted to talk about because, I was showing off the Street Fighter action figures that I got. And they have this double dragon figure, but it's, 7-inch, so it's not in scale with a lot of things. And it doesn't look that interesting engineering. So I'm not too sure. Minna Hatter saying he's very biased and will willfully interpret things to fit his narrative. Oh, interesting. I did not know that was a thing he did. Because so far he's been pretty compelling. I think the Johnny Somali and the Ethan Klein stuff. But anyway, I'm going to head out, guys. Had a lot of fun. I'll see you tomorrow. Be cool.